Hello and welcome back to today's live stream about the keys to open the gates. So in the recent few days, we had a couple of concepts. First of all, which gate are you going to open? Like there's so many gates you can choose from. So which one do you focus? Which one is your goal? So I hope you took already the goal setting exercise. It's actually called From Goal Setting to Goal Getting. And it explains the concept of goaling, which you have heard here and nowhere else. This is something I've developed with understanding or bringing together the teachings of Bob Proctor and Abraham Hicks. So if you love either or both of them, goaling is the new method of manifesting into your life what you want to create. So on the goaling exercise, I can give you, I'll give you a short explanation about what it is exactly, and then you can start manifesting your desires, your wants, your 5-figure business, your daily client attraction, whatever it is for you. After that, yesterday we had a look at the 6 ghosts of fear, and this concept is taken from the book Think and Grow Rich. So I took Napoleon Hill's wisdom, and today we're also going to dive into it a bit. And we had a look at the 6 ghosts of fear, and interesting how or in what symptoms they actually showed up. So the interesting thing here is that, for example, the first fear was fear of poverty. Now, all the concepts that he listed there, the symptoms, I would say, were indecision, worry, doubt, procrastination. So none of this is connected to any monetary thing. And yet the worry, the fear is coming from, among others, monetary thoughts. Right? So that's why this is Think and Grow Rich. But the fear is something based in our mind. And that's why today we are going to look at how to get the keys and how to turn the keys in the lock so that you can unlock the success you desire. So how cool is that? So thank you for being back here on this Open the Gates Masterclass. I'm really honored and happy that you're here. Let me know in the comments that you're here so I can see that. And let's go rock and roll. My name is Nadine Dill. I'm a success mentor and growth passionate. So I research prosperity, and that's what makes me tick. So saying that, I'm coming from the business and marketing niche and moved into working with Bob Proctor, so understanding about the mind, how it works. And then when everyone was saying, hey, it's everything mindset. So first I thought it's a thinking positive. Hey, cool to see you here. Thank you for sharing. One thing to say is I know we stream live to 3 places, to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And so you see there the StreamYard link. And in order for me to see who is commenting, so you actually have to sign up through StreamYard. So if you want to do that, perfectly fine. And if not, also I see your comments just as anonymous or called Facebook user or for wherever you are writing it. So that's perfectly fine. Also, if you still haven't registered to the Open the Gates Masterclass in order to get the exercises every day and the replay in case you missed either the days before or you're now on the replay and you want to get notified. So this is the reason to sign up. It's absolutely free and please join. So, okay, where I was, mindset. So mindset is not about thinking positive thoughts or, going into NLP, but mindset is to analyze where your mind is set. And mind is the connection from your heart and your thoughts, and that together creates the realities that you form. So the law of attraction is exactly how to get together. Hey, cool to see you. Very cool. Yes, so I am teaching you on this whole masterclass how to manifest your goals. First day, a quick repetition. What is your goal? So which door, which gate are you going to open? The second, why is it still locked? So have a look at which kind of all those 6 ghosts of fear, which one of it is holding you back most. And knowing that, then today, knowing which lock you have to open. So today we're going to find the keys and speak about success habits that will open those gates. So let me know when you're ready, because I am. Okay, so I gave you yesterday exercises of taking inventory, and taking inventory is super important to know where you're at, because you can start only and exactly where you're at right now. If you have thoughts like, first I have to X in order to Y, so that is a blockage per se. First I have to get a certificate before I can start my business. No. First, I have to have X amount of money before I can invest in XYZ. No. I mean, there is always, for example, deals to be made, partners to be found. Your knowledge and skills don't need any certificate. And you know what? You want a certificate, I can write one. You see how it works? So whatever body is issuing a certificate, that's good. But sometimes people with certificate are incompetent of sharing their knowledge, and sometimes people without a certificate have knowledge from praxis. They know what they talk about and they can share. So whatever it is for you, don't wait for anything and anyone. You can do and create your success right now. It's very important that you know that, because everything else, again, is a limiting belief. First, I need to in order to. So none of that. That's one of the keys. Okay. You might want to take your journal or a sheet of paper to write down some things, because today I'm going to go over a couple of concepts, and I do think you want to write them down. So there is not only one key, there are several keys. So for everyone, it's a little bit different which one you have to turn, but that's perfectly fine, because everyone has a different goal and everyone has a different starting position. So wherever you're at, that's perfectly fine. Start right there, start right now, and go one step after the other, or in a quantum leap towards your goal. Okay, so today we are going to cover, I said, success habits, but then let's first figure out what actually is a habit. So a habit is a subconscious belief translated into action. So that is actually, it's kind of complicated, but it's very easy. For example, some people wake up in the morning and they have a thought about coffee. So that is a habit. They connect morning and morning routine, morning habit with, I go and make a coffee. So what is the purpose of, like, if you're such a person that thinks about coffee in the morning, so just think about what is the purpose? Why are you doing it? The thing is, it's already, if you do it every day, it's already a subconscious behavior. You don't think every day, do I want to have coffee today actually? But it's, kind of automatic or automated, how you say. You go there, you turn on the coffee machine, you light up the coffee, you have perhaps the newspaper, I don't. You do affirmations, gratitude, so whatever it is for you, that is your morning routine. That is your routine. Coffee is part of your routine. So if we would think about everything we do in our routine, like drinking coffee, brushing teeth, washing my hair, like I don't think about that. I do it, right? So it's a subconscious, not a conscious. It's a subconscious belief translated into action. Okay. Knowing that, now let's analyze what kind of subconscious belief do we have, and why and how to put them into action, and if it's better to have new kinds of subconscious beliefs to put into action. So what kinds of beliefs do you want to put into action? So today we are going to go over those success habits, and then you look at your daily routine and consciously think about what shall be your new normal. What do you accept into your subconscious? So I said consciously. So first you have to receive the ideas, the impulses. It has to go through your conscious mind, which means that you use your sensory faculties. Those are your five senses. You hear, you see, you taste, you touch, you smell, right? These are the five faculties, the sensory faculties with which you receive information. So up until now, you have you are using those, right, in the conscious mind. But what separates us from the animal kingdom is that we have higher faculties. We have our sixth sense. We have our thinking, let's call it engine, our thinking mechanism, right? Sometimes we call it brain, but brain is kind of physically describing this electrical switching station where thought impulses go from one place to another. So the activity of thinking has six different ways to do it. So we have six thinking faculties. The first is the will, memory, you might want to write it down, perception, reason, imagination, and intuition. Now, in order to use either one of those, the first thing to do is to have in mind what is your goal. Day number one, what is your goal? And then to take inventory. Okay, this is my goal. Where do I want to go from here, right? What do I have right now? What are the resources to my disposal? So it's the thinking faculties, it's your talents, your skills, your money, your time, your knowledge, your expertise, your experiences. So a lot of resources, and do bring them to the table, okay? So using those six higher faculties differentiates you from how other animals interact in nature. Okay, so that makes also the connection between our physical actions or bodily expression in action and our mind. Okay, so when we speak about habits, again, I said a habit is a subconscious belief translated into action. So taking inventory of what is it that you actually believe. And it's very helpful if you did the exercises from yesterday with the 28 self-analysis questions that Napoleon Hill gathered in Think and Grow Rich. That is so helpful because then you become aware of what have I been thinking? And sometimes it's so obvious. Sometimes it's so obvious, it's ridiculous. Okay? Yes, so I want to take you today through a number of key success habits and also what it takes to implement them. Because ultimately, happiness is when you live what makes you happy, when you live your success, when you live what is prosperity for you, when you live love, when you live you, right? So let's do that. Yes. Okay, I will say it like this. Isn't happiness, love, prosperity, abundance what we ultimately want? Isn't it touching people, touching hearts, touching lives? What you ultimately want? And it can be in your small circle for your family, and it can be millions of people in the world. So whatever work you're in, whatever job you do, whatever thing you invest your time in, however you show up in relationships with your parents and children and partners and friends, like, do you do the very thing that you imagine yourself in your higher self? Okay. So let me know in the comments if this is what you're doing. So do you see all of those things are ideas. They're not something physical. I don't need money to be prosperous. It's very nice to have money, but there are people that are rich and don't feel prosperous, and there are people they are with little money in the bank account and feel absolutely prosperous. So prosperity has no connection whatsoever with the amount of money in your bank account or where you live or what you have. It is how you relate to what you have. And again, that's the idea. Okay? So knowing that ultimately the higher goals are actually ideas. So which one of the thoughts or which one of the sensory factors do you think will bring you there? Is it the physical senses or is it the higher faculties? And if so, yeah, and if so, why do 95% of the general population still focus on their current results in order to make decisions about their future? Like, why is that? And isn't it amazing that it's exactly those 5% that trust in their thinking faculties, that know that with imagination, creation, intuition, with willpower, with perception, they can create the life they want? Can you see how that works? So you cannot take inventory of something physical in order to get ideal or idea-based results. You go to the idea-based thoughts in order to get physical results. Can you see how that works? Like, this transformation is so super key. And when we speak about habits, and the habit is a translation from a belief into action. So the belief of your future, the belief of your or in your capabilities, the belief in your creation creates your results. So if you have less than absolute confidence in, I will figure it out, I have an idea, I'll find the people helping me to implement my ideas. I know from experience, and that's the memory, that a certain thing can be done. So those are these higher faculties that you can use in order to create your results. So why is it that it's actually entrepreneurs, creating value for this world, right? It's always the entrepreneurs. Even if you're employed somewhere, that's perfectly fine. But there was always first an entrepreneur creating your job, right? So it's always first the idea. And as soon as you have an idea for yourself, where you want to go, what you want to do, how you want to live life, then create habits that create those kinds of experiences. Okay? So that said, go through your daily routine and look at all the stages. Like, why do you get up at the time you do get up? Could you get up earlier and add more things to your morning routine? Should you sleep more? I don't judge here if you should go to bed earlier or later in order to have more energy for the rest of your day. Is your breakfast filling you with energy? Is your morning routine giving you the energy you want? The physical energy with sports and perhaps yoga, and the spiritual energy, perhaps with meditation, gratitude, journaling, whatever it is for you. Do you have this in your life? Have you ever consciously thought about how to create your life? So this is my invitation to do so. And every step, everything. Why and how much are you on Facebook? How long does it take you to answer to emails? Do you answer all of them? Right? How, like, oftentimes people say, I don't have time. So time is not something that you can manage, but you manage the activities at every given time. Okay? So again, living your goal, looking at your goal. How do you invest your time to get closer, one step closer every day to your goal. So again, do you let the physical things define and determine your future or your experience, your mental state, or do you create a mental state and let that affect your physical experiences? Which one? You can tell me in the comments so I know where you're at. Oh, that's so beautiful, because that is how you get into your higher purpose. Just that. Just knowing what it is, knowing what doesn't work, and watch yesterday's life about that, and then make a decision to live in your purpose. So will you make the decision to live your purpose? Then let's create those habits that create success. So here they are. Do we have something to write? I again will use Think and Grow Rich, and actually there is 2 chapters I want to refer to. The one is organized planning and persistence, and surprise, surprise, they're pretty similar. They're listed there both, and they're pretty similar. And I want to both explain but also a bit read them to you. So the first is, that's from the major attributes of leadership. It's unwavering courage based upon knowledge of self and one's occupation. So the unwavering courage is, and knowledge, right? Based upon knowledge is about you knowing yourself. What are you capable of? And not what others told you in the past or right now what you're capable of, but what you know deep in your heart what you're capable of. And again, you don't need anyone to give you a certificate to have a certified skill set. You know perfectly fine what you're capable of. So then have a trust, have a belief that this is your leadership skill, your leadership habit that you trust, and you have the courage to always take inventory and know what you can and know what you have and know what you are going to do. So again, connect to willpower. Yeah, and for exactly this, today's exercise is going to be about that. And at the end of the call, I'm going to share exactly what it is. And I will, in a separate post in the Mindful Success Achievers Facebook group, add the exercise to the guide section, guide number 4. So if you're watching on YouTube or LinkedIn, you're very welcome to hop over or just send me a comment or a text, and I will send you the file privately. Okay, so the next one is desire. Oh. So I said again, and also it's in the other book, The Science of Getting Rich, that desire is the indication of what you're perfectly capable to do, and it's still yet unexpressed. So you wouldn't have a certain desire if it wasn't something that is in your purpose. Some people have a desire to draw, and I never had that because it's definitely not my purpose to be an artist, a visual artist, and to draw. But some are called to do it. My daughter loves to sit and draw, and so that's somewhere in her artistic, purpose. So whatever you feel called to, whatever you have a desire to do, that is a hint and a hint from universe that this is what is on your plate, so go after it. So in order to develop your desire, you can write a goal card. And a goal card is basically what I have here from Thinking into Results, but you can definitely create your own one. And what you can do there is that you write out your goal in present tense, starting with I. So you speak in the form of I have, or I do, or I earn, whatever it is for you. Yes, best in the form of gratitude. For example, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am, da, 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 da. And then put a date to it. You will be amazed what is possible when you put a date to it. And we just had evidence of that last week in the group here, when Billy Neal shared that his New Year's resolution, he wrote down that by June 1st, he wants to have his first coaching program that he's going to coach or co-coach. And on May 30th, he wasn't one step closer to it than before. Like, he didn't do anything. But since I was his coachee, I just said his coaching is so fabulous, so wonderful. It's about sales, right? He's a sales person that was in seven-figure agency, and he is now also in a company that does 6 figures every month. So he's totally qualified, and he's the head of sales. So how cool. And then I just had this idea, this intuition, this hunch, and I just, went to the keyboard and wrote everything down. And here it was. I sent it over and said, Billy, this is your coaching program. How do you like it? Do you even, I just had this intuition to send this to you. How does it resonate? And he was like in tears, like, that is crazy. That is impossible. So by June 1st, actually May 31st, and he's in the US, I'm in Switzerland, so I sent it over my night, so he saw it only the next day. So that's so amazing. And that's just by write your goal, know what is your desire, write your goal, and then put the belief to it that somehow universe will have you back. And yes, he is also a TIR student of mine, and he does the work. He just does the work, and so it works. Okay, so that is desire. Write your goal card and do not ignore your desire. Your desire is here to tell you and to give you hints about your purpose. So go after your desire. Then self-control. If you cannot control yourself, your activities, your words, your way of communication, so that is something you definitely have to master. Yesterday in TIR, we spoke about the impression of increase, which is also principle from the book, The Science of Getting Rich. And leaving people with the impression of increase, leaving yourself with the impression of increase, is aligned with natural laws that say increase is what nature is striving to. So as long as you're aligned with your increase and you increase others, you can only win. Okay, so self-control, exercise self-control to leave people with the impression of increase. Then here we have a keen sense of justice. Without a sense of fairness and justice, no leader can command or retain the respect of his followers. And that is also, of course, yourself. Like, are you too self-critical? Are you too soft on yourself? Are you a good leader for yourself? Do you take yourself towards the goal that you set for yourself? Do you find a way? Do you use your creativity? Are you the leader that is showing up for yourself in your life, for yourself and others? Yeah. Then the next, definiteness of decision. And I think on every call now, I already touched upon decision. So decision is so super important. It's written here. The man or woman, my addition, who wavers his or her decisions shows that he or she is not sure of him or herself. He or she cannot lead others successfully. Okay, others or yourself. So make a decision, and once you have made a decision, give yourself a definite and committed command to do what it takes to back it up by action. So what does it mean, back it up by action? If you want to open a business, go and open a business. If you want to invest into coaching, go and put a down payment now, even if you don't have the rest of the money, because it shows intention, and law of attraction says, oh, she's serious. I'm going to send the rest of it. And you know what? It happened to me. So that's my story. When I signed up with Bob first, so the salesperson was like, yeah, so how could you make it happen? Can you ask your parents, your friends, the banks, take a credit loan, da da da? And I was like, no. So I was like, I would have to have a client, and then I can sign up. And you know what? 24 hours later, I had a client like this. And then I was like, money is in my bank account now. Nice to have. what shall I do now with it? Shall I coach her? I mean, I was a coach previously in business and marketing. Shall I coach her on this side? And then I said, no. I told universe I want this, and here I had the money for the down payment. So I closed my eyes and I clicked the button and I just sent it over. And the rest came in divine time, just always when I needed it. And I tell you, there have been things going on last year, and you know that very nice. And so I could have said, yeah, there is a time of uncertainty now, and now is not a good time, and I don't know what it's going to be. And it would have been right. So I could have sold myself to my alibis. Did you see and download the list of the alibis yesterday? So it's still in the guide section if you want to have a look. Look, there are 57 alibis, a list of alibis, aka excuses, aka sometimes we call them good reasons. I can say, oh, there is a pandemic going on. I cannot, it's a good reason, right? But it's also an excuse. It's also an alibi. And I could do it because I decided to do it. So, definiteness of decision. The next, definiteness of plan. Once you made a decision, that's good. Now, you need to have a plan. Okay, so how do I make it happen? So if you know how to make it happen, that's good. Although then your goal might be not big enough. But anyways, that's then a different conversation of A, B, and C type goals, if you know what I'm talking about. And if not, just, check out the call about goaling that we did on the first day, and or just send a comment and I can then refer to it and answer you. So anyway, definiteness of plan is, okay, so how are you going to do it? So whatever the question, whatever your goal, you will have ideas. And there are ideas out there called strategies, tactics. So it's not about first learning the strategy and then implement it, but it's first knowing what you want, doing this, making a decision, and then the strategy will show up. Then you get the plan, right? Okay, then this is interesting. The habit of doing more than paid for. So it's not only paid physically, but also paid, getting thank yous, etc. So that's not giving yourself up for others or for anything, but it is, can you do it? That's again, it gets back to the impression of increase. Can you do it better? Can you be the best version of yourself? Do you measure yourself according to standards set by society, the company, or according to your own standards? And if so, where are your standards? Are they high? Are they low? So you set your own standards, right? And then a pleasing personality. So that is a big one because everyone has his or her personality. And let me tell you this, you are perfect exactly as you are. And that again goes back to the impression of increase. Do you leave yourself and others with the impression of increase? So as long as the answer is yes, that's perfectly fine. You have a pleasing personality for those that resonate with you. Okay. If the answer is no, if you do not feel better with yourself when you do a certain thing, or if others don't feel better. So first of all, others also can check, why they perceive something the way they perceive. But then it's how you find out how to connect to them heart to heart. Dominic is saying, no, never set my own standard. So it's time to do so, my dear. Do you want to be average or like the industry, or do you want to be top and set your own standards? You know who is very fantastic at that? Simone Bales, who is a gymnastic like she sets standards that are completely outside normal in her sports, right? Yeah, Simone Bales. You might Google her and her achievements. So she does things that are super much more difficult than any other. And so she's asked, but you're best anyway, you're first anyway. So she said, but I want to be better. So she wants to improve. Again, impression of increase, right? So that is how you become fantastic and fabulous at what you are and who you want to be. And you know what? People see that. And with this, they will say, wow, I want to do that too. I want to have that too. And you know what happens? You naturally become a leader. How cool is that? And especially if you have a business, isn't there a better thing than to be a natural leader and people will want to follow you? Yes. Next, the willingness to assume full responsibility. So we covered on day 1 the 4 levels of awareness, right? Life happens to me, victim mode. I make life happens, the hard work mode. Life happens for me, the manifestation mode, and I am life, source mode. So wherever you're at, are you willing to take the responsibility over your life? I mean, once you are 100 years old and you look back and your great-grandchildren ask you, so what did you do in your life? What stories are you going to tell? What are you going to show them? Write that down. That is so beautiful. And that is, again, that's what we did on day 1. And your story starts with you, starts right now. And as I said before, all the alibis, when you will be 100-year old, you'll just say, why didn't I do it? Like, why didn't I do this earlier? What did I think? So what do you think? Like, be honest about that. Have fun with that. Okay? Oh, that is so good. The next, cooperation. Do you cooperate with like-minded people? Do you ask for help? Do you accept opportunities? Are you open to co-create with universe and with source? The next, attitude. Like, how do you think about things? And what is attitude? It's the alignment of what you think, what you feel, and what you do. So that's habit again. What do you think, feel, and do? And as long as it's aligned, so that is your attitude. So is your attitude, are your actions, are your thoughts, and are your feelings aligned with your goals or aligned with your fears? Like, where is the alignment? Because your attitude, it's always there. It's not that I do have an attitude, I don't have. Everyone has an attitude. So either it's aligned with your goals or it's aligned with your fears. Which one? Which brings me back to, do you assume responsibility for what you think, feel, and do? Yeah. And the best attitude to have for manifesting and for everything is the attitude of gratitude. And that also brings me back to first take inventory, and that you can start only right now where you are right now. So the attitude of gratitude is taking inventory and being grateful for what you have, the skills, talents, connections, support systems, money, time, what else? Connections. And start right now with a gratitude that you don't start from zero. No one starts from zero. Everyone has an environment, how supportive or not, but there is you have knowledge, you know something. You're watching me right now on a device on the internet, so you have that device, right? So you can just start wherever you are. And then, last but not least, and actually most beautiful, be in a vibration of love. If you love what you do, if you share love with other people, like, can there be anything else than prosperity and success? That is so beautiful to understand, isn't it? Which brings us back to the ideas. that everything is actually an idea, right? So this is learnable. If you say, oh yeah, that sounds really makes sense. Does it make sense? Just write it in the comments. If this makes sense, and you said, I want to learn that, then also write it in the comments. I'm willing to learn. I'm ready to learn. So shall I give you some more hints how that can work? What I can tell you first is that the keys is in your hand. And the question, if you have the keys in your hand, if you put it into the lock and you turn the keys. Because sometimes, there is a key. I should do gratitude. Another key. Let me get some keys here. The key for gratitude, the key for love, the key for my business, all kinds of keys. Do you use them? Do you actually go and open your business? Do you exercise gratitude? Yeah. So think about your habits. Create your habits. Connect to your habits. Make a conscious decision of what your habits are going to be. And then make sure that this decision is backed up by action, because that's the only way how you connect the physical from the idea. The decision is an idea, but then you want to have the money in the bank or the clients in your business. So you have to translate it into the physical, right? And once you translate it in the physical, so do you use the higher faculties like intuition, imagination, reason in order to translate your desire, your goal into the physical? Or do you use the physical to use it as an excuse not to achieve your goal? Yeah, which one? So we said there is a co-creation of the mind and the physical, and either you live in the past and in the now of what your sensory factors perceive, or you create your now and your future by using imagination, by listening to your intuition, by making new decisions, by using reason to ask, how is it possible? Not why is it not possible? What are my alibis, reasons, etc.? But how can I make it possible? And then just sit there and think and let the source come to you, ideas come to you. Yeah. So that is the trick. That is how you turn the keys. That's how it works. So can you trust your desire, your intuition, and change the habits, even if your body says, that sounds or it feels strange, right? Getting up at 4 o'clock is like, no, my body doesn't want to. Or investing a certain amount into your business for marketing, for coaching, for hiring a person. I don't want to use that money. I keep it for rainy days. So you know what you manifest? Rainy days. So what are the resources? What are your goals, and how are you going to use your resources to achieve your goals? And that's the habits that you create. How you use your resources, your time. How do you use your time during the day? Again, you cannot manage time. You can just manage the activities you do at every given time. And when you are ready to make the transition to say, here is my goal, those are the recent resources. So now I'm ready to make the transition with my higher faculties. You use the physical and your higher faculties, and this is creating your goals achieved. So again, this is learnable. The question is if you want this transformation. And if you want this transformation, so it is your turn, turn the keys, your turn to say, yes, I want transformation. And if that is the case, write it in the comment, make a committed decision. Yes, I want transformation. Write it in the comment right now. Yes, I want transformation. Okay, I can even back this up with, yes, I want transformation. Here we go. Ready to transform your life. Just write, yes, I'm ready for transformation. So, how much longer do you want to wait? We are now on this call. Some of you have been already on other master classes of mine or even of other people, and you have heard that before. Have you heard that before? So, do you want your 5-figure business or not? Do you want clients coming to you daily or not? Do you want to change the experiences or the relationships or not? All it takes is a decision and then back it up by action, right? So adding to this, and usually the decision is not made because of what we mentioned yesterday, because of either one of the fears. So then today I give you a resource that helps your self-confidence to make that decision. So it's called the self-confidence formula, and it's also from Think and Grow Rich, so I can share it with you. It's in the public domain. And yay, someone wrote, yes, I want transformation. So good to see, because listen, even Einstein said, if you do what you did, you'll get what you got. So the definition of insanity is keep doing the same thing and expect different results. So if you know that your time has come to turn the keys and make this transition, it's all about doing something differently, have different habits, assume success habits, say, yes, I want it. I want to know about my mental faculties, about how can I think myself into results, and I'm ready for this transformation. So if this is you, this is the time. Now is always the only time you have right now. So I'm going to share in a separate post, because I cannot share PDFs in the same live stream. We tried that before. I'm going to share that in a separate post in the Mindful Success Achievers group in the guide section also. And if you're listening to us now on LinkedIn or YouTube, then just hop over to the Facebook group or just leave a comment there and I'll get back to you. So then tomorrow we're actually looking at the state, which happens often. So a person opened the gate. You opened the gate. You see your goal achieved in front of you. And then, for example, you opened the business. For example, now you have a certain amount in your bank account. For example, now you do some marketing. For example, now you have the relationship, or now you're a coach. Now you have a certain level of success. So then, do you step outside in order to get and assume your goal? Do you let it in or not? Right? Just stand there and say, oh, here I am. Now that's what I just described before. I actually had the down payment in my bank account. Did I send it over? It was a question. So I answered it with yes. What is your answer going to be? Right? So if you opened your business, are you open for business? Like not physically open, that is registered at the registrar. Do you actually talk to clients? Do you actually deliver your goods or services? When you have the money, do you save it and shuffle it away? Or do you use it to invest and spend the way you imagined you will? Right? If you do a lot of marketing, do you do the transition into sales because that's the purpose of marketing? Or you do purpose of marketing because you have to? So goal in mind. What is your goal in mind? You want a 5-figure business, you definitely have to get some sales. So also if sales is a thing, so just let me know. And we have the sales mastery coming up Very cool. I'll communicate about it next week and month. Yeah, so do you make the transition into, what your goal is? Do you then do the work, right? So, for example, you want a perfect relationship, but do you actually allow for the love to flow to you? And do you allow yourself to love yourself or someone else? Because it's not about the relationship, it's all about the love, right? It's not about opening the business, but it's about touching hearts with it, right? So again, we're in the idea, we're in the metaphysical, we're in the goal. It's not the physical achievement. It's the achievement that makes your heart beam, right? So if you have achieved a certain level of success, do you stay there and say, oh, okay, I get it? Or do you see, the whole picture and say, wow, that's what I dreamed of. Now I'm so grateful. And let's see what I do next with it. What is my next goal? Yeah. So tomorrow we are going to look at that. What happens when you open your doors? Because so many are afraid. So what will actually happen then? Right? Fear of success. Have you ever heard of that? It's strange, but it's so real. And then they think, maybe I shouldn't bother. And you know what kind of life you create then? Yeah. So, last call. Let me know if you want transformation, then let's get going. Let's do it. Here today, you got all the keys. There is a system, there is steps. You just have to open the gates. So I'm looking forward to seeing you back tomorrow, where we have a sneak peek into how it looks when those gates are open and how can you let in the good that you desire or step out into the world and create and share the love, the creation, the knowledge that you have to share with others. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. I'm looking forward to hear and witness about your transformation and to have you back tomorrow. And check out the exercise then that we will add into the Facebook group. And yes, thank you. Dominic is also sending, if someone wants to have a personal call and to talk about how to create the transformation for yourself, please book a call and I can look at what are your goals specifically and what are the exact thing that might block your way and give you a plan. Did I say definiteness of plan? Here we go. Let's create a plan and then let's go about it. It's so worth it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dominic, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for listening and being here. Love you greatly. Bye-bye.